of what we want to go through is state of the market. And this is going to be my segment. I'm going to go really fast. So what we're going to talk about is millennials, right? Millennials are increasingly driving the trends. I don't know if you're finding this, but what's happening is as boomers shrink, millennials are obviously becoming more of the market. So what are they looking for? Less expensive projects, right? Because of their life stage, but more of them. So what 72%, really mostly medium-sized kitchens, right? And the average spend for medium-sized kitchen is anywhere from 50 to 75,000. Are you guys finding this as well? You're seeing more millennials, you're moving into more millennials, less boomers. Are you finding that the projects are less expensive? No? No? Good. Good for you. You know, what they also want, I think we, right? Everybody who's younger, they want mobile-friendly spaces, they want apps to control everything, and they want voice or motion sensor lighting. Why? Because they don't want to do anything. They just want to walk into the room and have everything happen. 30% share of kitchen projects. Somebody's laughing. Share of kitchen projects using integrated technology. So here's the disconnect. Everybody wants it, but what's happening? They're not really doing it. I know Rose is going to be talking about this more. She's probably going to kick me for taking over some of this, but they're basically, people want it, but they're not doing it for a lot of different reasons, and we'll get into that. Rose will get into that. And then top tech ask, video touchscreens. How many of you have a video touchscreen in your kitchen? Raise your hand. Is it smudge proof? Smudge proof? No, right? So what happens? It's a pain. It's a friggin' pain. And then more color, less shine. Is everybody seeing this as well? More color, less shine. These are the trends that we're seeing as we go forward. 43% more color. Now, does that mean white is going away? No. It just means that in addition to white, you're seeing other colors. Top colors, green and blue. Why green and blue? Anybody? Why green and blue? Sorry? Calming nature, right. Everybody's kind of getting back. We're all kind of a backlash to what we just had happen in the last year and a half. We want to calm. We either want to be calm, we want to be happy. So it's schizophrenic. Less shine in fixtures, more matte and brush finishes, black, stainless, nickel, and pewter. How many of you in the last year have done an all black kitchen? Okay. I see a hand, but I see no head. Oh, all right. There you go. And how many of you have done black cabinetry, right? So we're also leaning organic. And why are we leaning organic? Again, nature, but also guess what? Recycled. You know, that younger generation wants things that are recycled. They want wood. We're looking at wood. Larger kitchens, because everybody's home. Expanded storage. More involved over the next couple of years. I'm going faster. You're going to see the average kitchen range, 25 to 50, almost 50% increase in the next 2 to 3 years. And why is that? You know why? Because everyone's spending more time there. You're going to work, you're going to entertain, you're going to learn in the kitchen. You can't just do one thing. So top storage ask, how many of you have pantries like this or have designed pantries like this in the last year? I know I want a pantry like this. I think I have one little cabinet that has everything in it. So what you're going to see is larger kitchens, 25% of the market, an average 100K spend. These aren't your general millennials. These are generally your boomers. So now we're going to move it. That was 4 minutes. I did a great job, I have to say. I did that all in 4. Okay, now we're going to move to key national trends. First up is Rose to talk about tech drivers.
So much talk about health and wellness trending, especially these last couple of years, right? And Pam touched upon those trends. And actually, $1.5 trillion business experts are forecasting up to 2024. That's a lot of dollars for you guys to think about and incorporating that into business. So think about designing into that. And also, today I will touch on technology in the home-built environment so you can help your clients have better health and wellness. So let's start with sleep. Sleep is, as it is a major factor of all that, the body requires sleep to function well. And our body has a natural process that follow a 24-hour cycle, and that's called circadian rhythm. You guys know about that. And there are many products that can stimulate this, kind of like our space that we're in now. There's a strip called Multi-Light, and what that does, it's one single LED strip, and it also actually has warm. You can start with warm light, and goes up to cool light and then warm again. And you have the option or the end user to control that. And also, let's tell our clients to simplify their life. Why not introduce home automation system, which is voice-based user experience with just one interface. So you can have, I'd like to point it out, but see the iPad-looking interface. It's just so much easier for your client to look at and then say, okay, I want a romantic dinner, like that picture. And your whole room kind of reacts to that mode. Also, there's voice activation and touch-free, and I talk about that because less points of contact, less bacteria to spread, right? And it just makes sense. And voice activation module by Brizo have been introduced, and all it is almost like a plug and play. So if you have that technology, plug it in, this module, plug it in, and it'll, let's say you can talk to your fixture and say dispense 1 cup of water, and it actually dispenses just 1 cup of water, no more, no less. And there's the Libero by Hayfala, where a sensor can activate the trash bin to open. I'm gonna just tell you all these new things that are out there. And another way to keep your environment clean is by having a clutter-free counter, right? So let's get everything off the table. Let's get the knife block off the table. With a press of a button, it can go up, it can go down. Whenever you need it, bring it down. And let's get all of your favorite wines off the counter and put it on the wall, just like the decor here. And also, there's a lot of multi-docking stations made by many manufacturers. Hayfala has a lot of different options as well. And what that does is allows you to plug in all your iPads, your iPhones, and everything, and leave it in the drawer. And then instead of having the big jug of water, why don't you put it on the wall? You have the standalone water filter dispenser, and there's a couple of ones out there. One is LK, which is what we have here. I think GE offers that too. And of course, we need to encourage our clients to be mindful of their eating. By doing that, we can introduce, there's actually this appliance that cultivates your own seedlings or whatever. It's called Home Gardening Cultivator by LG. And also, how about cooking without oils and butter? GE Monogram has this hot air fry mode, which crisps your food to perfection. And then what about the Signature Kitchen Suite? They have a cooking portion where you can cook with sous vide. And let's take you into the bathroom. Again, I'm going to talk about proper lighting, shift the mood from stimulating space in the living room, and at the end of the day, you might need that spa-like serenity after having such a busy day, and also maybe include a tub that encourages good health and well-being, or it actually heals with the introduction of hydrotherapy and chromotherapy, and that's been proven. Also, with the plumbing fixtures, you can have connected plumbing fixtures. I actually did this project where my clients, he had this condition about his foot, and he says, well, he can't get into a cold shower right away, so he needs to really warm it up. So gets his smartphone, turns it on, and the water turns on, and he can actually monitor water. Other appliances in the house with smart appliances, you can find it in the laundry room, where you can preload detergent in the washing machine, and it dispenses the right amount based on the load size. Actually, also based on like the amount of soil laundry that you have. And same with the dishwasher, they also have that. And also for the home, the overall home protection, you can basically shut off the main supply line when this app tells you, okay, there's leak from such and such appliance. And you can monitor that from anywhere. And I think this might be my last one. And let's talk about technology and family. You can really have a connected family with this connected appliance. It actually connects with family members by sharing pictures and keeps the clutter off the appliance, so easy cleaning again. Yeah, and you can keep the photo clutter out of that refrigerator. Finally, somebody. And you can stream music, watch a show, build a calendar, and so on. So I think that there's so many more out there, but I thought I'd introduce you to a lot of these other what's out there right now. So thank you.
Great job, Rose. I want it all. So here's my question for you. Guys, I get asked one question. Do many people think it's too complicated or too costly to be able to do all of this? Is it too complicated, too costly? Do any of your clients say to you that it is? And how do you answer that question?
Yeah.
How do you get them over that challenge?
You know, because the very first thing that they say really true about technology is that they don't want to put it in because they don't want any appliances that are smarter than they are. So, and I'm like, what? But really, honestly, their concern is it going to be outdated again after a while? And a lot of the manufacturers these days have a built-in software so they can actually always update your most current software field. That answers your question.
That answered my question, Rose. Although I do want appliances to be smarter than me, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Peggy, there you go. Design for life.
Okay, design for life because life happens. And sometimes I told you not to give me one of these because I talk with my hands. Where's my lavalier? Keep it there. Okay. It's more of a concept. It's not so much about a product. It's really how you use the products. Products, for the most part, even over the years, are kind of the same stuff. It's wood, it's plastic, it's stone, it's man-made or natural. It's how we use it, how we put it together that really makes it different and unusual. But design for life because life happens. Life happens when you least expect it. Things change. You can be on the slopes having a lot of fun in your kitchen planning a wonderful dinner, or in your bathroom and slip on a slippery floor, and suddenly your crutches. You're in the hospital. It may be temporary. It may be permanent, or you could have a condition that becomes progressive and gets worse as the years go on. And that can happen very young. Somebody can be 6 years old, they can be 16, or they can be 60. And so it's not about aging in place. It's really about designing spaces for people at almost any age and any stage of ability or disability. Because life happens when you least expect it. This is a bathroom that I designed for some people that I've done a lot of work for in Houston. This house happens to be in Alaska. Is that West Coast? I'm doing South, but she's a Southern lady, and this was a retirement place. It is a retirement place, and that showers around that corner there. There's no door. There's no curb, and there's a linear drain where you can't see it right. Hand thing. So what you focus on ease of use, ease of maintenance, focus on wellness. Wellness is the big push right now in every arena. And what does wellness mean to the individual, whether it's a child, a teenager, a millennial, or one of the greatest generation? That would be me. And of course on quality of life, but again, what does quality of life mean to the person that you're designing for? I don't know if you can see in this photo, there's actually a skeleton back there at that cooktop. This was a kitchen we did, and the people had this skeleton on a roll-around thing, and we positioned him in the photo shoot back there. And so we use it every year about this time because it is almost Halloween. And there are multi-levels of places to sit. For our left side, a place to sit, to eat, to work, or prepare. Different kinds of countertop surface. This is a 1-hour presentation that we're squeezing down in about 7 minutes. The best kitchens, BEST. They're beautiful, efficient, safe, and timeless. We're talking about trends here, but the best trend of all is to have everything that you possibly can have to be timeless. I had a kitchen that was on the cover of Country Living magazine over 20 years ago, and I pulled it out the other day, just came across it, and with the very few little things that would not be major, it was timeless. It could be today. It had floating shelves, which I'm not really a big fan of, but it had a lot of the things that we're doing today. Kind of things kind of come around, go around, come back again. Ergonomics. Combination of the word organized and ergonomic. A cabinet company a long time ago kind of coined this word and used it in some of their training. I haven't seen it used again, but it's really all about how you organize your kitchen or your bathroom or whatever space we're talking about, so that the use of that space, it was originally termed ergonomics for industrial use, for the workplace, and providing a workspace, work tool so that it didn't strain or tax the muscles and the physique of the human body. But we combine it into ergonomics and talk about the inside storage, behind closed doors, accessible storage. And so this is where I like to say everything should come to you. You should never have to get on your hands and knees to get anything. It should roll out, pull out, swing out, tilt out, whatever it has to come to you. Come to mama, that's what we say. More accessible storage. I think there's one similar to this up in the front display here. Most of these, not all, but most of them are wood-mode cabinets. Everything should be easily accessible. The things that you store, you can see them, you can get to them. You can get to them because you can see them. Leading right into our next thing, which is let there be light, and lots of it. Light makes life safer. We have cabinets integrated with lighting. Under the cabinets is light. It's integrated into the structure of the cabinet. Inside the cabinets, that bottom left photo right there, you can see everything back in the back in that magic corner that comes out. Some of the lighting underneath base cabinets that are mounted on the wall, 10, 12 inches off the floor, provide a night light so that when it's on a sensor, so that when you walk into the bathroom, into the space, the light comes on. You don't even have to flip a switch. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you can't get because you can see it. If you're doing kitchens for people you come across these that people don't know what's in the back of that corner cabinet. They haven't been back there for years. Well, no more of that stuff. So these are a few pictures we'll get through pretty quickly. This is in Austin, and I put this in here in particular because we will put little notes on the top of the things that are right and the things that could have been done better or more designed for life. But also I put this in there to remind me that the Austin city updated their city codes not long ago. Stricter codes. Things like the front door, at least one entrance has to be ground level or no steps, and things like the light switches can't be over 48 inches above the finished floor. Light plugs, electrical plugs along the base in your walls can't be less than 15 inches, and there's a long, long list. Those are just some examples. And builders, there was a big plaque over it. But it's been long enough now that they've all agreed that it's made a huge difference, and certainly made a difference in the way people think about how they design, especially kitchens and bathrooms. By the way, the most dangerous rooms in the home, most home accidents happen in a kitchen and a bathroom. My brother, who's in the insurance business, tells me that most home murders happen in the bedroom. That's true. So here's another one, a bathroom showing a few things that they are right, open below the sink. This one is to remind you that when somebody's getting ready to build a house or remodel one, and maybe they're a millennial and they don't think they really need to do any of this stuff to prepare for what may or may not happen, at least convince them to put reinforcement in the walls so that if something happens, they need to put a grab bar or a support bar, they can do it. It doesn't have to be an institutional, commercial-looking thing. There are really some good-looking that look like towel bars, and in fact double as a towel bar that are used for support. No curb, linear drain, a bench with a handheld shower adjacent to it. I'll tell you, I don't know how much time I have, but I'm going to take an extra minute here. I think the best way of talking to people about design, the best way of selling anything for that matter, is by telling stories. So I'm going to tell you a couple of quick personal ones in my own family. My daughter had a knee injury, a sports injury, when she was 13 or 14. Had to have a cast, had to learn to use crutches, bedrooms, all upstairs in our house at the time. And so she managed it, but she was young and agile and strong. But it was still very dangerous to do. My husband developed a condition, CIDP, chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. I really can't say that. What that means is that he has lost the feeling in his feet and his hands, his fingers somewhat. And so it makes mobility a real issue, because if you can't feel your feet, you don't know what you're stepping on, you don't know if you're hurt, in fact. And so we remodeled our own home, and we put in a bath downstairs that has no curb, has a wonderful bench seat in the shower with a handheld there, beautiful support bars. I don't like to call them grab bars, it seems so aggressive. And so then, not too long ago, this same daughter with the knee injury had to have knee surgery. Right when you get older, it comes back to you. And so she had to come to our house at the Bay, where we've got all these wonderful things built out for my husband, to stay for a week or so until she could get back into her condominium, which was on the second floor. She now has bought a house, and she is completely, she's every one of these principles that we talk about to people every day in our own business. Here's our skinny cook again, showing in some notes here some of the things that we did right and might have done a little differently. I'm a big fan of shallow, tall storage for access, where you don't have to lean over at all. I've always done that in my own homes, because I don't like to get up on stools, and I don't like to get down on my hands and knees. But just keep in mind, any place you've got a place for tall, shallow storage, it's the best thing to do. Plan for now and plan for the future. This is another shot of that same house in Alaska, and I think we see it a little bit later in another part. How was that?
That was great. Thank you very much. All I want to do is get rid of my junk drawer. That's all I want to do. I have a junk drawer. I just want to get rid of it. But I have a question for you. Our clients are, give us a second, are clients coming to you and asking you for design for life, or are you convincing them?
A little bit of both. It's kind of become my specialty in our business, and so I get referrals from previous clients, and then the other designers will get, when somebody walks in the door and they look like they're not millennial, they tend to give them to me. But I also will suggest these principles to everyone, because it applies to anybody at any age or stage of the building.
Thank you, Meg. Now we're on to Steve for luxury.
Luxury. So let's go back. Okay, so what has happened over a period of time? We're not able to travel, we're not able to entertain, we've not been able to experience our family, and goods and services, even haircuts, became a problem. So what has happened? What was the effect? We got a glimpse of what was important to us and what we've missed. So a desire to live well now. So a lot of our clients, what we have found is that they've said, At first they wanted to downsize. Now they want to increase their living spaces. They've realized that how important their home really is to them and how important their family is to them as well. So in this photo, see, it happens to be in a high-rise here in Chicago, the 32nd floor, and their master suite was really important to them. So brought luxury to their home like never before. This room happens to be 26 feet long, and you'll see the high gloss cabinets, the wardrobe cabinetry on the left. That is all made by Woodmode. When I first entered the space, when it was completed for the photo shoot, the first thing I thought of was a luxury hotel. And I think that our staff, along with Woodmode, achieved exactly that. It's a sleek, tranquil, outfitted home with a hotel-like amenities. Now what? We're all forced to stay home. We have our family, and we're all on top of each other. This is also on the 32nd floor of a high-rise called 9 West Walton. And this unit is 7,200 square feet, one level. This family room on the right has 4 50-inch TVs, and all the millwork, including the coffered ceiling, was produced by Woodmode per our design. The Hermes blankets came separate. This is also part of the same room. The gentleman was a big cigar smoker, so right in the glass cabinet that has stainless steel doors on it, there's a 36-inch wide cigar humidor in there that holds 500 cigars. In the same unit off the kitchen, they have a separate sitting room. So we created the cabinetry for us around the stone surround. And this is the fireplace. It's a little bit different than most that you're going to see. The fireplace surround is concaved. It's not very easy to do that with the granite. So this happens to be a mirror image of the family room you saw earlier, just one floor lower, but a completely different design, much more casual, using walnut veneer, floor to ceiling, and also has 4 50-inch TVs. Never enough TVs, right? In the same unit, now that we are all at home, we wanted to create a separate office space where the husband or wife of the family can conduct business from home. And the last slide is everybody needs to have a luxurious bar in their home. Especially now that things are starting to change a little bit, that we're spending more time at home. We want to be able to entertain and enjoy our families as much as we possibly can.
Okay, before we get to the cool factor, I
Yep.
have one question. Where did that gentleman smoke his cigars? In that fancy room, or did he hang out the window? What was he doing?
Well, if you're familiar with this particular building, it has a balcony that is 15 feet wide and 8 feet long. Yes, 80 feet long. 4 heaters, so he's out all year long smoking cigars.
Okay, now my other question is, what do you see most of your clients request? So we talk about luxury, we talk about the way it looks and feels, but what is the most requested ask, would you say, from your luxury clients? What do they want the most?
They want us to design something that represents them. I think that's most important. With social media today, there's so many different ideas out there that our clients come in with their own personal books, and which makes it a lot easier for us, for being designers, is that we can get inside their head through their lookbooks and through their ideas, and we can design specifically for them.
Thank you. Ryan, cool, as you can tell.
I think they gave me this category because I'm the youngest one up here, I guess. But I actually kind of like this category because it's pretty relevant, especially now, with everybody staying home, like Steve and a lot of the panelists have mentioned. People have really turned into not just what functions in my house, but what do I actually want it to be, and how do I make it that reflects more of my personality? So I think there's a lot of ways you could do that. One thing that people are looking for wow factors. This happens to be a media room where it's not just paneling anymore. This is metal integrated, shaggy carpets. It's if you notice the artwork, it's pretty nostalgic. It's kind of got a hip hop vibe. I think as millennials are getting older, this is what is going to be trending. Using unexpected locations. This happens to be a stairwell. And we did a really cool kind of a tiled pirate ship with a skull on it there, which everyone loves skulls. But this is something you could look at when you go up the stairs every single day. It's unexpected. You just don't expect to be seeing that in stairwell. So finding unexpected locations, I think, is a good way to bring in wow factor. Spaces that make you smile every time you walk in. The use of materials, stainless steel. Woodmo does a lot of stainless steel fronts. If you haven't seen them, you can check them out. They're in the back here. But the use of metal in what would seem to be a fairly modern way, but bring it into a bathroom, I think it's a great way to increase wow factor. Edginess. So, way to create edge, simpler walls, doing pattern tiles on floors, bringing geometry in, whether it's mirrors, tiles, industrial rise, using knurled finishes. These are things you guys are all seeing. They've been around for a while, but people are coming and wanting to see these things, and how are we as designers pulling it together to show them how all this works together. Adapting to lifestyle changes. Steve kind of touched on this a little bit, especially with bars in home. A lot of these houses that we redo kind of built in the 90s, and they all had built-in desks. Like, how many have you worked in a kitchen with like a built-in desk that nobody uses, and just kind of left the junk space in the kitchen? And with people living at home, we're trying to reuse these spaces. So we've really kind of reorganized that to being wet bars. Here's an example of one up here. This used to be a desk at the end of the kitchen, and we just made it kind of a cool, edgy wet bar that he's at home. He's with his friends now. He's not going out as much, and this is what he wanted. So with wet bars, you can add a lot of really cool lighting. I know Peggy talks about that as well. But integrated lighting, I asked Rod Hunter from Woodmode earlier, what percentage of designers who order from Woodmode are putting integrated lighting into cabinets? He said 7%. I was shocked. It is such an easy thing to do, and it adds so much value. This particular one, not only did we route in for task lighting underneath, but in the shelves we put in up lighting to really kind of illuminate, and they're switched separately. So at night, you could dim down and just leave that soft glow, kind of a nice gastropub look, I guess. Coffee bars too. I'm from the Northwest, so coffee's big up there. I've been doing a lot of built-in coffee bars for people. I don't know if you guys are experiencing that as well. Texture. So, everybody knows color, everyone knows shape, but textures become a big thing. In rugs, there's lots of different textures, as you'll walk through the mart here and see. Texture in rugs and flooring, texture in wall coverings. Flocked wall coverings have been a great way that I've found to really add punch to rooms. Also texture in tiles, and artistic tiles right around the corner. They have a ton of these as well, but not just doing marble tile anymore, but how do I get texture out of that tile? It's not, because then you don't need all that punch of color. Just bring in texture. Great way to create some wow factor. Color saturation. I know Pam talked about that. That's a big deal. Dark colors, heavy saturation, matte finishes. I'm seeing a lot of that. That's what's working for us up there. So that's what I had for cool finishes.
So anybody who can incorporate gastropub into their like presentation, I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
Just letting you know that.
Yeah.
My question to you is, okay, so do you bring the wow to them or do they bring it to you? And how do you know when not to push it too far?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think most people come in with an idea of what they want, but they don't really know what's out there. We're so exposed to even this mark, like what is there out there? And then when you can show that to them and get them to step out of their box, not off the cliff, but out of the box, I think that's where you're really going to succeed, because if they wanted to stay in the box, they don't really need you. So get them to step out of the box, and that's what we're finding.
Good point. Okay, now we're gonna go on to regional. Steve, I think you're up first with Chicagoland. I'm gonna click it to the next one if you don't mind. Regional, we're now gonna go to regional trends. So I think first, Chicagoland.
So yes, I am a kitchen designer. From those other photos you saw, you're like, this guy doesn't do kitchens, right? So mixing metals is huge right now. I don't know how many of you have seen that. In this particular kitchen, we've mixed brushed brass, stainless steel, polished nickel, and 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that was completely unheard of. The other thing that we're seeing here locally, I know they talked a lot about color saturation and adding colors in green is reflecting of nature. But what we're seeing a lot of is that a creamier white, Benjamin Moore's Plaster of Paris, is one of our biggest sellers today because it's taking the place of a bright white. Tend to want things to be softer, a little more mellow, and that's what we're finding.
Part of the things that I think from this pandemic is that people are wanting their Zen place, their private place. And so with this particular client, they wanted to start their day off with their coffee together and kind of just reflecting on the days before, but they didn't want to have it in that typical breakfast nook. They wanted a very comfortable place. So I think I've been getting a lot of that. And also the warmer tones. I think people are kind of getting tired of white kitchen, white walls, and white everything. So, but then they're too afraid to get out of that because they're thinking resale value. What's going to happen if I go outside of the trend? And so, what is so easy about introducing another color is introducing the warmer tones like the rift cut oak that we're seeing today. Actually, I had one here before, but you'll see I believe it's going to be trending as well. And also exotic focal points. So there's always that one wow factor, right, Brian? Yep. And in the kitchen, the best place to put it, at least for easy cleaning, is the backsplash for this particular one anyways. And I should do this, but I do have a go-to design solution for something like that. And then the color green, I think we're gonna see that a lot, because it's such a soothing color, and it does, it's the most dominant color in nature, right? And it just I guess exudes calmness, serenity, and all the good stuff that you want to feel when you get home. And that's about it.
Oh, sorry, I'm going to take this from you. Okay, of course you're the South. There we go. What's going on in the South?
Classic contemporary, modern but not minimalist. So it's classic contemporary with an edge, some kind of a special focal point. And this kitchen, which was finished recently, we'll see some other pictures of it where this gold bronze detail is on the edges of those open shelves. And inside the door trim, I think I mentioned that before. And in fact, the photo of that cologne door that you showed is exactly the door that I have in mind as trending. It's a kind of like a slab door with a narrow raised edge all the way around the edge of the doors and the drawers. The gold bronze detail, it's on the shelf up there, and you can barely see that along the inside panels of the drawer heads and the panels. And then a place for everything and everything in its place, and lit, of course, so that you can not only get the drawer open all the way, but you can see everything that's in there. And then I don't have the word exotic up here, but that's exactly what I have in mind. I believe that our market, which is generally the luxury market, they don't want anything that anybody else has exactly the same. And it's the same stuff, so you got to figure out some way to use it differently. But natural wood and natural stone, every piece is never going to be the same, so that's kind of the go-to. But what we're seeing is wood, maybe with a live edge, or really unusual graining or texture to it, something that makes it different. And the same thing with the stones. Something that's really unusual and different edge, different shape, something really unusual about it. And non-slip floors. And the hotel that I'm staying in, a lot of the surfaces are very shiny, but they are non-slip. I'm even testing it. I'm rubbing it to make sure it isn't, because it looks very shiny. So, so if you don't want the matte and you like the shiny, it doesn't have to be slip. So this is my Southern Lady in Alaska, the kitchen, and it was designed for someone with a progressive disability. Raised dishwasher, which you can't see behind the flowers there, and a microwave at easy level to reach. All drawers, we don't ever do an ordinary cabinet knife. You would pull out, swing, open a door, and open a drawer, close the drawer, close the door. And then I like the quote from Steve Jones. It says, "Design is not just what it looks and feels like. It's how it works."
Okay, before we go to the West Coast, I just want to ask you, because we had a little discussion about, you probably know, open shelving. So I keep referring to you, but I want to ask you, who is pro open shelving? Raise your hand. A little bit, okay. Who is against open shelving? Raise your hand. Yes. I'm just wondering, because we had a little bit of a discussion about.
Yeah, well, we've had this thing going back and forth. I think it's great for display. I think it's lousy for storage. So if you want to display, put your storage things in a shallow tall cabinet.
Let me be on the spot. West Coast.
Well, in the defense of that, some kitchens are so big that you need more negative space. And I think rather than just crowding it with tons of open cabinetry or upper cabinetry, you need to find a place to kind of get some negative space in the uppers. But moving on to the West Coast, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. We see a lot of light stain tones. And Wood Mode has a bunch of great ones. Matte Shale happens to be my favorite. If you haven't seen it, you can see it here in the showroom. And it's funny because in the Northwest, you would think, well, why do people want gray stains? And I think it boils down to they don't want red anymore. Those red wood tones, I think, have left the book. So light stain tones is what we're seeing. Wood grain, the rift cuts, especially in emphasizing it. Going back to this one with black highlights, this is a rift grain or a rift cut with black highlights. And I think just emphasizing, if you're going to do the linear grain, emphasize it. It's a cool way to do it. Smaller rails and styles. You know, that should have been a national trend because everybody said that, I think, up here. But we're seeing that as well, smaller rails and styles on doors. Metal integration. So integrating into doors, like hardware that's actually routed in to doors. We're doing a lot of that. I did talk to Wood Mode, and potentially they're going to work out a program where they're going to start doing that too. So really excited for that. Modern mountain look. The thing I would say about that is cozy. People want a very cool, chic, cozy place, and that's definitely what's going on the West Coast.
All right, that's great. Thank you all. So now we're going to open it up for questions. What I'd ask is that if you have a question, could you point to, and then you can stand up and repeat your question loud. I don't want to pass it on the mic. So any questions? Yes.
For surfaces, do you think you'll see more of a pivot from polished countertops to home?
I'll answer that. Absolutely. That's what we're seeing today.
Anybody else want to? Okay. That finished, right? Okay. Any other questions? No questions? You all just want to drink, is that it?
I have a quick question. How many are students and how many are actual kitchen designers or interior designers here today? So one at a time. How many students? Everyone's a pro. Okay. Interior designer? Nice. Okay, I'll give you my card later. We can do some business. Sorry, guys.
Any other questions from the panel?
Kitchen design.
Anybody? Peggy, did you have a question?
Well, people who didn't raise their hand at all. Other trades, at least in building trade or some other. You didn't raise your hand. You're pressed, okay. Okay.
Just want to say thank you so much, and thank you to our panel.